So many of us are single when we don't want to be. In the UK, where I'm from, the average age of a woman getting married is now 37 and a man is 39. So what's going on? I think it's because we're not just competing with other people anymore to find our spouse. We're competing with this idea of a high value life and a high value partner. And while everyone has inherent and equal value and dignity, meaning that we're all equal in value, but not everyone lives according to their value. So what exactly is a high value person anyway? And what does being a high value man mean? Like, what is it that women are looking for? And how is it going to make your life so much easier to find your spouse if you can present in a way that shows that you are high value? I'm going to be exploring some tangible ways and things that I've really noticed that I see in men, and I just think, wow, that is so attractive in this video today. I'm Delphine, and I've helped hundreds of young adults approach the world of dating with confidence, intention, and purpose. So let's dig in. What the heck is a high value man? Firstly, he is a full commitment type of man. And what I mean by that is he really leans into whatever he is applying himself to, whether that's his career, whether that's his family life, whether that is his love interest. Like, he's not scared of commitment and he's comfortable with that. He will give it his all and he'll be both feet in. And the reason he can be so confidently committed to, really just trying something is because he's confident in what he knows he can offer a woman, which is super attractive because he knows his value, he knows his worth, and he knows that if he fully tries something and it doesn't work, then that's fine. He can move on quite easily, he can move forward with his life, and he's not afraid of being alone. This is a guy where you know where you stand. There's no guessing games, there's no games in general, you just know. And that is such a gift to women. Secondly, he's unafraid to put effort in, to actually show that he's trying. So he'll dress up for a date, he'll plan something really nice, he will take charge and lead, and he's not necessarily always gonna say, what do you fancy doing? Or what do you want to do? He will actually be behind the scenes planning things and showing that he wants to put the work in. And anyone who's been on a date that feels very personal, very bespoke, and very much in line with you and your interests and your hobbies and, things that have shown that that person's really listened to you, will know how special it feels when someone arranges something. And for me, I personally always like to be overdressed rather than underdressed. So when I am with someone who does put an effort into his appearance, into the clothes that he wears and the way he presents himself, it's really hot. It's really, really hot. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with showing that you want to make an effort. There are definitely times where slumming it is fine, but there's something nice about that because it just shows like a very hot maturity. I feel like I've said hot a lot this video already. He makes plans and he follows through. So we've just been talking about, actually putting an effort in, making really cool plans, but he also follows through with them. It's not all empty words. I'm sure a lot of us women have had the experience where we've been told these amazing things and they never actually materialize. So I think someone who says, hey, I'm gonna help you out with this thing on Thursday, and then on Thursday he's helped you out with it, or hey, I'd love to take you out on Saturday, and on Saturday you go out. It sounds so simple, but it's so effective when you feel you can really trust someone's word. Even if it's something really small, like you ask them to read over something that you're presenting at work and they were like, yeah, sure, of course, I'll do that by Wednesday. When someone follows through with their word, it makes you feel safe and it makes you really lean into the trust and also just feel looked after and respected because, someone has set an expectation and then they meet it. So definitely follow through is incredibly sexy. There we go. It's a different word. I'm not just using hot. And side note, obviously follow through is just good throughout every single one of your relationships, whether that is your familial ones or your work colleagues or anything like that. Like, being a person of your word is such an incredibly virtuous quality, and it's something that I'm trying to be better at, especially as someone who can be serially late, although never more than 7 minutes. I will note that. Set the expectations realistically, but then follow through with them. I think it's really easy for us as humans to kind of overpromise and underdeliver, but I'm trying to break away from that habit. So that was my little side note for today. He's a good communicator. So I have to admit that I'm terrible on the phone now. If you get me on the phone, I think I'm pretty good, but like getting me to answer a phone call is really strange, because that kind of social anxiety where you see your phone ringing and you've had no prior warning or expectation of why this person is calling you is like, and it's really strange, isn't it? Because I did grow up in the days of house phones and where people would be like, hi, can I speak to so-and-so? And that's how you'd make plans and things like that. But nowadays it's like, I will text a friend before calling. I'll be like, hey, do you have time for a call tomorrow? I'll never just call out the blue. And yeah, so we've become this like text generation, and I don't necessarily think it's the healthiest thing. And I have become very accustomed to doing voice notes, because I just find it's like, I know I can communicate myself well in spoken word, but I also don't want to impose myself on someone else. So it's like, if I send a voice note, they can listen to it whenever they like, in their own time, when they're brushing their teeth, while they're doing washing up, whatever. But I do think the art of the phone call is actually really beautiful, and there's something good about it, and I should really bring it back into my life. I think I've just let social anxiety get to me. But so, you know, when you're with a man who's able to have good communication with you, like not just text, but maybe, you know, they send you an email just to surprise your inbox, and they can have good phone calls, you can have good conversations face to face, and you have a good cadence of your communication. I think that's really good and a sign of someone who really values you. And ultimately, when you feel valued, you're going to see that person as high value, right? And I like to say that interests make us interesting. And the reason that is because it's like a good conversation starter, right? So I'm also seeing this man as a good conversationalist. He's someone who is well-read or has interesting hobbies, and he will bring them up, and you know, is a good listener, but also can teach you a thing or two. I think constantly being around people who you can learn from is not only really good for our own humility, to realize that like we don't know it all, we like have basically not even scratched the surface, but it's also really attractive to learn from another person. So to be in a situation where, you know, someone can share something new is a real gift. So being a good conversationalist obviously includes having good conversation starters, having interesting fodder in your arsenal that you can bring out, but also in being able to have that good back and forth, and obviously that kind of flirtatiousness, that playfulness, a bit of banter is all really good. So yes, being a good conversationalist is definitely a great skill to master in life in general, not just for your love life, but in every single day. There is also something very satisfying about someone who's well groomed. And I'm the first person to admit that I'm not the type of woman who always has my nails done or who does my hair like properly. Like, I have quite a low maintenance routine actually, but there is something in showing yourself, presenting yourself as just like clean and well groomed, and there's an element of healthy pride in that. Like, I want to ensure that I am presenting in a good way. And a high value man is also a positive man. He is solution focused, and he is smiley, and he just feels like, yes, he has a can-do attitude. He doesn't lament in the problems of yesterday or the worries of tomorrow. He lives in the present moment. He's very mindful, and he wants to make the most of right now. Because it's so easy, I know this, to just be living in the past or like living way ahead in the future. But like, we're being invited by God to live right here, right now. And if you find a man who just makes you feel so present and so alive, that is incredible. Because ultimately, this high value man, he's probably really poured into his self-development, his self-growth, and he is very aware that his thoughts create his reality. So he's not there in a moany mindset. He is thinking positively, and he is bringing you up as well and encouraging you. The Bible literally says that we should encourage one another. Our words should be building others up. So coming from a place of gratitude, positivity, and that kind of can-do, like I said, solution focused, is just chef's kiss amazing. I think we should all aim to be like that. It's not always easy. Life does bring us hardships and bring us down. But if we were really able to live in the moment, and if you find someone who's able to really embrace that with you, then my goodness, I think that's a great match. I also think that this man notices. So obviously there's a big movement of women dropping the hanky, women trying to really understand how they can helpfully attract a man or give a man a green light. And I think if you find a man who notices these things, like he picks up the hints, he notices that maybe you're shivering and he offers you his jacket, there's something very lovely about that kind of considerateness. Is that a word? Consideration, and that chivalry and really wanting to look after you. So I think noticing those things will make any woman feel so special and seen. And we all ultimately, male or female, want to be seen, right? So the quality of being able to do that for another person is very valuable because it makes them feel valuable. He also knows that a woman of value can choose, and he's fine with that. He doesn't take rejection personally. It is water off a duck's back. Like, he's happy to put himself out there, and if it doesn't work out, because he knows his own inherent value, it doesn't destroy him, it doesn't depress him, it doesn't discourage him. He's just like, okay, that wasn't the one for me, and that's okay. He understands that attraction is a very personal thing, and none of us are going to be attractive to everyone. It just isn't going to happen. And we ultimately only need one person to be attracted to us. So you might go through a whole string of rejections, but remember, it's redirection, and you only need one person. And if you're able to come out of those situations unscathed, with your self-confidence intact and your value untouched, because you know that's inherent and that's given to you by God, by our Creator, because the very reason that we're here is that God valued us to create us and have us on this earth, and nothing that anyone else says or does should shake that. And I know that's easier said than done, but there's something very, very affirming about that. And I think if we're able to do that, that makes us super high value, as the world is saying right now. This high value man also takes a healthy pride in his home and his car. You know, things are tidy, things are kept well. And this also leans into just like general hygiene, personal hygiene, grooming and cleanliness. You know, there's just something about him that's ordered, whether that has come naturally or that's been taught and he's had to teach himself and really get into the habit of that. There's something very manly, very mature about an adult male who can actually look after himself, look after his space, and is uncluttered. I think there's something about a cluttered space which just makes people feel like it's a bit chaotic, and there's something very soothing about just having order in your life. So I think there's something good about that as well. High value men are also playful. They're not boring, they're fun, they're happy to laugh at themselves, they're happy to laugh with you, they're happy to just maybe, I don't know, spin you in the street randomly. Like, just do something that shows that they don't take themselves too seriously and they're not too cool for school, you know, like they are able to be a little silly and a little playful. And I think it's such a shame when I see people lose that quality as they get older, because we don't need to. Like, I hope I'm gonna be 97 and still being a bit playful and a bit cheeky, because I just think there's a childlikeness that's a gift from God. Not childishness, because of course we are called to mature and to grow, but a childlikeness that just shows that we trust and we, you know, can see the positive side of things at all times. A high value man is clear on his intentions. He's confident in what he has to offer. He's confident in what he wants. He's open to compromising, but he has an ultimate vision that he's hoping will align with someone else's vision. And when he finds that, that's the direction he's going in. There's no back and forth. Like, he knows he's looking for this high value woman who's going to add meaning to his life, inspiration, encouragement, and color and joy. And that's what he wants. Yes, he wants a committed relationship. Yes, this man wants to be a husband and father, but he doesn't want to be a husband and father to just anyone. It's not just about being married for being married's sake. It's because he knows what he has to offer, and he knows what he could do and achieve with like the right woman with him, you know, the right person to lift him up and to lift up as well. And I think there's something incredibly beautiful about that. Not saying that we need to be these power couples, but I think in every good union, although it's going to be, you know, difficult, you're going to have your hardships, it's hard to merge your life with another person. But when you have this kind of almost business mindset, you know, like you are building with someone else and they are like your CEO, your CFO, whatever you want to call it, and you're a team. And you know, when you're in the outside world, if you're building a business, you do not speak badly about your partner, because you want to stand united and you're building something, you're investing in something. And I think seeing a relationship like that and having that intention is not only incredibly beautiful and something that we should aspire to, but there's something that shows that that's very directional, and that again is high value. Of course, I mentioned chivalry earlier, but just in general, he's well-mannered. He's polite. He speaks to you with dignity, with respect, but he also speaks to everyone with dignity and respect. And when you're dating, you know, he's in touch with you throughout the day. He's showing you that he is thinking of you. And he doesn't leave you guessing. If you're having an amazing date, he's already talking about locking down the next date. He's also open to understanding women. We are obviously different to you men, and finding a man who's open to that and who doesn't just at the first sign of maybe, you know, some emotional outburst or a, what should I say, spectrum of feelings. He doesn't just run away from that. He's not just going to be like, whoa, this is too much. Like, he seeks to understand, he seeks to learn. And obviously, at an appropriate level, he seeks to meet you in the middle. He wants his woman to be the best she can be, and he wants to be his best for her too. There's something that's really beautiful in this kind of give and take relationship. I don't want to sound like I'm doing this super long list of like, this is what the man has to say. I'm just trying to help us define like what this means, like being a high value man, and what it is that us women are really looking for in making this judgment. Because as I've said, you know, the term high value, it's because ultimately we all want to be valued, we all want to be seen. So if you find someone who makes you feel valued, and in that way they are showing that they value themselves, there's something in that that's very magnetic, and that's going to make you feel like, yes, this is a person that I not only can be attracted to, but who I want to build something with. So I hope that's been helpful. I don't know if that's been a good list, but let me know if there's anything else that you think defines a high value man, and I would love to hear from you guys on what makes a high value woman in your opinion, because that's just as important to understand as well what it is that men value in women. So I hope this has been helpful, and as always, I'll see you in the next one, and God bless. Bye.